Hi, I'm Peter Finney of the Clarion Herald, and I'm joined by Christine Bordelon, our associate editor, and our Kids Clarion and staff reporter, Beth Donzi. With I Give Catholic coming up on Tuesday, November 29th, we'd like to use just a few moments to explain why the Clarion Herald is such an indispensable ministry of the Archdiocese and why we're encouraging you to help support our mission. Just this past July, the Catholic Media Association named the Clarion Herald the best non-weekly diocesan newspaper in the United States and Canada. And that's an honor we received very humbly because it means we're serving our readers, both in print and through our ramped-up social media efforts. Just as an example of how we're really meeting the social media challenge, in the last 3 years, we've tripled our Facebook followers from 3,700 to 11,000. We've also been honored for our multimedia efforts with timely videos that go behind the scenes of the printed page. So Christine, I'd like to ask you, could you maybe share one or two stories about things that the Clarion Herald does to stand out in its mission?
You know, I think the Clarion Herald really works hard every issue to build a community of Catholics who know their faith, and then they read our stories and they're inspired by seeing people putting their faith in action, and they want to then go and put their faith in action as well. And we also try to build a coalition of parents who try to raise their kids in the faith as well. And so we do that through our NOLA Catholic Parenting blogs and columns, and also through Heather Bozant-Witcher, who does our young adult column every week in the Clarion Herald. And that's really important. I mean, you know, the Archbishop as well as the Pope constantly talk about our young church, and they're not the church of the future, but the church today. And so, you know, Beth does a great job of Kids Clarion and showing kids and teachers who do their faith in schools, in our Catholic schools in the Archdiocese. So, Beth, tell us a little bit about Kids Clarion.
Well, I just first want to say the Clarion Herald overall is such a great source. I just feel, you know, if not the Clarion Herald, we would not have a source of these positive news about the faith and the church. Like you said, faith in action. And you're just not going to find those stories anywhere else, certainly not in the secular media. So we dive really deep into those stories. For instance, when our priests and deacons get ordained, we try to do a deep dive into their stories and share them with the public to show, you know, what's behind their vocation.
And who they are.
Exactly. And I don't believe any other media outlet locally could cover that as well as we could. You're not going to get that wealth of information. And then it's also, on the Kids Clarion front, it's always so inspiring to me when, you know, children, you know, acting out their faith actually are teaching their own parents.
Right.
You know, kids, you know, whether they're taking a role at Mass or doing a service project, are actually teaching their parents the ways of the faith. So I find that to be a really great, inspiring tool. And also, my biggest compliment is when a teacher tells me she uses Kids Clarion in her classroom.
Definitely.
So that's always a great compliment there. We know it's out there and they're using our work, getting it out there. So
we do inspirational stories, and really one of the most inspirational stories that I was involved in came just recently. Sister Sue Ellen Tennyson, who was kidnapped in West Africa. We didn't know where she was for 5 months. We didn't hear a single word. She was finally released at the end of August. And then she chose the Clarion Herald to kind of do her story. And the story was for her to say, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the people who had been praying for her. So those are the kind of stories that the Clarion Herald does, you know, on a regular basis. That's why we're so happy to be serving, you know, the needs of the Archdiocese. So long story short, if you're listening to this message, I Give Catholic, we certainly could use your support to keep the good news flowing. And not only financial support, we're talking about go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to Instagram, and like us. We'd like to really ramp up our social media presence, and that would certainly help a lot if you go and click on that and follow us in doing that. So I want to thank Christine and Beth for being with us, and thank you so much for your support, I Give Catholic, and we're here to serve you. Thank you very much.